We say hello to Brian Dutcher. He's the AHC, the HCIW. You know what that means, don't you? And he joins us now on the Mighty 1090. Dutch, good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you from Laramie, Darren.
How is Laramie?
It's cold. It's sunny, but not sunny and windy, but it's not snowing right now, which is a good thing.
Not snowing. How is the travel there? Because you guys have had some snafus big time there trying to get to Laramie.
We had a great trip. We had a charter, a jet, where we had the entire travel party on, and it took us about just over 2 hours to get here. And so it was uneventful the way we like it, and we're ready to tackle the Cowboys tonight in a really late start.
Really late start, 8 o'clock. I mean, my goodness, people are going to have to stay up to like 10 o'clock tonight. What happened last year? I mean, you guys had like a really, really miserable trip there. Didn't you get grounded because of snow someplace?
Yeah, I've been here so long, I can't remember what trip it was. One trip we ended up not getting in until game day. I think that might have been 2 years ago, where the snowstorm was so bad we had to land somewhere else and stay overnight in Utah and then fly in the next day, stop for fuel along the way. So that was a tough trip. This one, no excuses this time. The trip was smooth, and now the Aztecs have to come out and play.
How tough of a place is that to play?
It's pretty difficult. You know, the start here is 9 o'clock their time, so I don't know what that'll do to their crowd. You know, people got to work the next day. So I think the students will be out. I'm interested to see if the normal ticket holders will want to stay up that late to catch the game. But obviously they have a sign right when you walk in that you're at 7,200 feet above sea level. How's your oxygen? So they try to get into the mental end of that, too, to say you're going to have a tough time playing in our building.
Where does that sign? Where is that? Is that like in the visitors' locker room or something?
Right in the tunnel as you go to your locker room. And it's big and plain to see. And Air Force has kind of done the same thing. They have a sign in their locker room at the Air Force Academy of all places saying if you start feeling dizzy or you get headaches, you could be suffering from altitude sickness. And so they're all trying to play upon that mental aspect of the game as you get ready to play.
Does it work?
Not yet. I mean, it used to be harder, Darren, on these trips when we had travel partners, and like we'd go to Colorado State and then play at Wyoming. And, you know, I know Mark Ziegler's done a lot of articles on the fact that you can play within 24 to 36 hours. The effects are a little bit less. And then if anything beyond that, it takes 2 weeks to acclimate. So when we used to be on the road for 4 or 5 days, I thought we did look a little bit lethargic in the second game, but never so much as the first game was always a little better.
Ziegler, I've heard of that guy. He's pretty good at what he does.
He's a pretty good writer.
Not bad. Brian Dutcher joining us now as the Aztecs get set. They have Wyoming coming up at 8 o'clock tonight right here on the Mighty 1090. You guys have won 20 straight here, Dutch, and I just wonder, that now ties the program record for most consecutive wins. What was the reaction like post-game with your team?
I think they were pretty excited. This is a pretty even-keeled group. There's not emotional highs and lows. They're pretty steady, and I think they were extremely excited, and we'll be excited to try to break that record tonight in a very, very tough place.
How much are you guys talking about this? I mean, it's the elephant in the room, or is it not the elephant in the room?
You know, I think Coach will mention it in his pregame talk. I think the kids are aware of it. They got a chance to break the school record. We watched some tape of that 34-3 team last night in our film session when they played here, and how hard they guarded and how much energy they had. And so I think our kids, after watching a little bit of that tape, said, wow, these guys were really good. Are we that good? So I think it had a little bit of a mental boost for them to see how hard that team played all the time. And this team plays hard, but it was good to kind of see that other team in action.
I would think, Dutch, that it's probably easier to promote something like this. I mean, everybody wants to do something that's never been done before, right? I mean, everybody, you know, we want to get the highest ratings. You guys want to win the most games ever in program history. But I would think it also helps to let everybody know, you know what, you guys also have to win this game because New Mexico is sitting there and they're biting at your heels. You know, I would think that probably helps to do it, you know, in the, you know, while wrapped up in the idea that this is still important in conference play.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we know we're in a great conference race with New Mexico, and they're the two-time defending champs in the conference, and until someone dethrones them, they're going to remain that. And so we know what's ahead of us, what's left of the season. We have some very difficult games, and obviously 2 of those against the Lobos. And so both teams have difficult road tests. We have Wyoming tonight. They have Boise tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And I think it's all going to come down to, in the end, our head-to-head matchup. I think even if we were to drop one, they wouldn't, or they dropped another. I think by the time we play head-to-head, that'll have a lot to do with who wins the conference.
Obviously, as long as you've been with Coach Fisher here at San Diego State, 20 is the longest winning streak that you two have ever had as the coach in the AAC HCIW. Is this the longest streak that you've ever had as a coach on any level?
I think so. I can't remember a longer one. And we've had some good teams over the years at Michigan and such, but I can't remember any longer than 20. They're rare. I don't, how many teams win 20 in a row? I think you could probably look back and say in this era, now that the UCLA's done running the table every year, these are pretty rare. And so we're enjoying the ride. We don't take it for granted. We're excited to be on this kind of roll. And if we do stumble somewhere in the next couple of weeks, it won't end our season. We'll be disappointed that we lost the game, but we have bigger things ahead of us, the conference race, and then hopefully the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, see, I mean, that's kind of what I was asking, too. You guys have been around, not to make you sound old here, but you guys have been around for such a long time. Everybody talks about the team and the kids, and understandably, they are the ones that go out there and get it done and win these 20 straight. But for you and Coach Fisher to perhaps do something that you guys have never done in your careers, I would think that that's probably pretty fun for you guys at this stage.
Yeah, it is. And I think, I think I'm a lot like Coach in this regards. We're not as happy for ourselves as we are for the kids because we've had the chance to be around so many great teams that it's always fun to see the kids enjoy something for the first time. And this could be a first time for us. I don't think we've been 21 wins, but if we do get this win tonight, it'll be more about the kids than it will be about us.
You guys held Nevada over the weekend to a season low, tied a season low, 58 points. We've discussed this before. Currently, the Aztecs are 7th in the nation in points per game allowed at 58.5. Obviously, you wanted to be a very good defensive team when the season started here, but was this the design here? Was it to be one of the best defensive teams in the entire nation, or did it just play out this way?
I think it's played out that way to a degree. Obviously, we want to be the best we can be, and the thing we knew we had this year was numbers. So we thought that we would be able to extend our full court defense a little bit more because we had a bench that we could go to and count on. And so we go, 8, 9, 10, 11 deep at times, and I think we'll go 10 deep tonight at altitude to try to keep the heat on Wyoming as best we can. And the Cowboys really control the game with their offense. They run a lot of clock. So if we're able to speed them up at times into a quick shot, I think that will help us in the game tonight.
73-58 over the weekend against Nevada, as mentioned there. That's one of those games where you look at it and you go, wow, they had such an emotional, such a tough comeback earlier in the week at Boise State. Was there any concern whatsoever for you guys heading into the game at home on Saturday night?
I don't think so, Darren. I think when we're in Viejas and we know what kind of crowd we're going to have there, we know the fans are going to be into it, and they're going to give us that motivation to want to play well in front of our whole crowd. So it is something to be said for playing in front of a full house, a lively building. And I think, you watch our kids in warm-ups and introductions, they were ready to play. They were excited to be in front of their home crowd. They were excited they were able to steal that win at Boise, and that they had a chance to tie a school record. So there was no chance of a letdown in that game. This team's so mature, I don't see a letdown. I think there may be a team that outplays us occasionally, but I don't think it's going to have anything to do with us not being ready to play.
Coach, one thing before we let you go, and that would just be the story in college basketball this week, would be what happened at Texas Tech and Marcus Smart, who's the kid from Oklahoma State, who went tumbling into the stands, and some adult mouths off like an imbecile. I just wonder if you take that opportunity to talk to your team, about some of these potential scenarios. Everybody talks about everybody's student section. You guys have the show in different places around the Mountain West, and everybody wants to be loud and everybody wants to be hostile, and there are different places that say different things and take it up to different degrees and such. Do you use that as any sort of opportunity to talk to your team to say, hey, listen, let's just remember now, let's not end up being that team, and use that as any sort of teaching moment for the guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's something we talk about over the course of an entire season, not just because this has happened. Coach always says, hey, we're going to be in a hostile environment. Some of it's going to be personalized to you. You got to just make a dull noise. You got to just let it go in one ear and out the other and continue to play and concentrate on what we're doing. And so, he always has a concern, too. It seems like we're on the court storming tour right now. Anybody that beats us says they're going to storm the court. they were all surrounding it at Boise, and I've already read in one of their articles today that their kids are excited. They're going to beat us and storm the court. And so you always worry in a case like that where all of a sudden your kids are coming off the court and you get some fan that's out of control rushing over them, that something could happen. So we try to prepare for every situation. Hopefully we win and we won't have to deal with that. But that always is in the back of your mind that sometimes the crowd's a little closer than you like them to be.
Yeah, where did you read that? What are you reading up on today where they're predicting that they're going to be storming the court?
Well, I think Larry Nance, there's some in one of their local articles said that he had been talking to some of the students, and they were talking about storming the court, and that really made the team excited. So, I mean, there's no needed extra motivation. When you're playing the number 5 team in the country, you're going to give everything you got. So I don't think that Wyoming kids are going to be any more excited because their students are saying if we win, we're going to storm the court. I think they're going to come ready to play regardless. And so I think it's going to be a really, really good college basketball game for those people that want to stay up late enough to watch it.
You keep saying that. It's 8 o'clock. I mean, not everybody goes to bed at 8:15.
Well, 9 o'clock here. So
Okay.
a little 1 hour later here. So a 9 o'clock start here.
Can I guess that article will somehow appear in the Aztec locker room before the game?
I don't know if Coach will mention it or not. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. I think it gets back to my original thing is this group is focused. This is not a group that needs extra motivation. I think they come to play. They know what's at stake. They go about things in a workmanlike fashion. So we don't get a lot of the emotional ups and downs with this group. They're steady, and our routine is steady, and so hopefully that will continue tonight.
And last thing before we let you go, everybody healthy?
Yeah, we seem to be healthy. I mean, just a cold here, some there, but nothing physically that should keep anybody from performing tonight.
Well, Dutch, thank you very much. We'll be watching later on tonight. We'll all be staying awake and brewing the coffee to make sure that we can stay up very, very late for this one.
All right, Darren, I appreciate it.
Thank you. That's Brian Dutcher, the AAC and the HCIW.